So what are we talking about today?
My God, Lance, how long has it been since we've done one of these?
It's been a little while, yeah.
It's been a while. We didn't even edit the last one. It's like, I mean, I guess I didn't.
Tell me the story about how you found this collection.
So I'm driving down the road, and it was actually during I was headed down to the last vinyl day at Oscar Blues, yeah. And we're headed to the Tasty Weasel, and I used to yard sale a lot. When I first was getting into this vinyl stuff, I was yard selling a ton. It was kind of an all-consuming ambition, and I passed probably 7 or 8 yard sale signs that day, and I was running late, and as I always am, if you know me, and I was like, man, it's just killing me. And I finally got down to, I was almost to Harmony Road, and I saw one more yard sale sign. I was like, oh, I'm gonna just hop off and just see this one real quick.
Couldn't help yourself.
Couldn't help myself. So I pull off the road off of Taft Hill over there, and I pull up to this guy's yard sale, and I see a Fisher Price record player, and I'm like, okay. I was like, I'll take the Fisher Price record player, and he's like, okay. I was like, you got any records to go with it? And he's just like, his wife just starts laughing. She's like, does he have any records? And he's like, yeah. So he starts showing me these bins, right, throughout his house. He starts in the garage, and he's got a couple of bins of style. I looked at him, and I was like, I'll be honest with you, sir, I'm not impressed with what you've shown me in the garage. And then it ended up being a lot of his extra, like, chaff kind of stuff. And then he takes me down in the basement, and he shows me, mind you, I'm late for work. I'm late for the vinyl day anyway.
That's fine. I was there setting up.
Whatever, you were
taking
working.
Care of it.
Yeah, you were fine. So then he shows me another couple of bins by his desk, and it's better. But again, it's sort of that middle of the road stuff, you know. It's like I'm not super. So then he takes me over to this shelf and he pulls back this curtain, and there's like 4 bins of records, and like this is the good stuff, you know. And so I said, well, you're a collector. You're probably not going to be selling this stuff. And he's like, nah, man, I got to move it. I got to get rid of it. And that's where you came in. I was on the road in almost all of October. Like I was literally out of town the entire month, and I literally took you over there for a couple of hours. We talked about it. I mean,
back up a second. The guy actually came to our.
We had our actual spin day down there, and the dude kind of showed up. So that kind of told us that he was pretty serious.
Yeah, and I got to meet him, and he got to kind of see what we do and get a feel for it.
Yeah, so he knew that we weren't just like trying to like take all of his records for nothing and you know, whatever. So anyway, long story short, Lance handled a lot of the negotiations, and we ended up coming to a price that was, you know, adequate for what we were trying to do, and Lance and I split it. So this is the first time that we've really tested our friendship when it comes to vinyl records. But we're going to attempt to go through about 1,100 records and split them up.
While Nick was traveling, I went and buddy might help me pick up the collection, and I set it up here in the garage, and so I've had it for a couple weeks, months, and I couldn't help myself. I started kind of sorting, kind of figuring out what was here. So what I did is I went through all of this. There's a few more bins on the floor too, and I just pulled out stuff that I thought was valuable, that might be worth a few dollars, that is interesting. So I did that, and I put them in these 2 bins. Now, that's not to say the rest of this isn't worth anything. Like, there's lots of great stuff in these other bins, but mostly like $5 records, pretty common stuff like Steve Miller Band, Chicago, things like that. But these 2 bins, I think, is where the most of the value is. And about half of this bin, I did a cursory pricing on it. So I'm gonna flip through a couple of these bins so you can see some of the cool stuff that we got. And then after that, Nick and I we're gonna attempt to divvy up some of this stuff and go from there.
we are at the fun part now. I think that there's a couple of like ones that we're excited about, so we can even just kind of pull those out. We can kind of pull the punk stuff out.
There's those.
So these ones are hard to find. I've seen this one once before, the Suicidal Tendencies. That's a $35 record. It's a good record. They're hard to find in good condition.
Yeah, this one's really nice too.
Yeah. Tell me what. It's one of their
Ramones. I think it's their
third maybe.
Yeah, it's one of the early ones. This one's in pretty decent shape. It's not perfect, so I have VG on it. But yeah, again, you just don't see these in the wild too often, especially original press like this.
Very cool.
And then, yeah, the one everybody's got to have. This thing is in beautiful condition. It looks practically new, so it's worth a few dollars. But yeah, this is the only album they've done, so yeah.
Should probably get that one then.
Yeah, that's the one to get, right?
All right, so we just put those aside. We know that those are going home with you. The other one that I was super excited about, or the two that I was kind of super excited about, or cherry picking out, were sort of these guys. This is Dead Set. As anybody knows, it's a Dead record collector. This record is getting really tough to find, especially in that VG Plus condition, and accurately priced at $40 to $50. It's getting up there. I sort of have kind of collected a few of these trademark of qualities. You'll see them as TM RQ or something like that. They're bootlegs. They're illegally pressed records, but this specifically is a Jefferson Airplane record. The reason why when we went to go look at this particular collection, I pulled this out, and the first thing I said is it colored vinyl before I even looked at it. And man, is it ever. I mean, we haven't play tested this guy. It's got a little bit of a water kind of smudge on the label, but man, that is a cool looking record, and I'm hoping that it plays all right.
Yeah.
So I think just to start off, those were kind of like the ones that caught our eyes that we kind of were itching to kind of cherry pick out of here. So I think we're pretty close on value between these two and those three. So I think that's probably going to be what we do on these. But we'll
that seems fair.
We'll keep moving. Start our own little piles, I guess. Let's go here. Yeah, don't put them back. I step off camera. I actually brought my handy dandy wood case here, so I'll just set that in the shade.
Process. I even have it.
No, you could use literally every single one of your bins.
So one interesting thing about this collection is there was a bunch of Led Zeppelin, and there were, I think, 6 copies of Led Zeppelin 2. So you know what that means?
Easy splits.
Well, we gotta look for.
Well, we gotta look for the Robert Ludlow, and as a matter of fact, we're gonna spoiler alert.
Unfortunately, one of them had no cover.
So those are we donate those to a friend of ours who makes clocks.
Yeah, so that's a clock, and then we also had a very nice copy of what is this?
In Through the Outdoor,
yeah. With no cover on
and that's a double no cover because that's the one that comes with the bag.
Yeah.
On House of the Holy. This is the one that was the last one that I found, and then now I have like 3 copies of it on my shelf.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Me too. It took me a while to find this.
But fantastic record.
So then we have.
So what do you think? That's an even split. You want Into the Outdoor, or you want the House of the Holy? It's right there. Let's just do it. It's easy. That's really nice.
That's beautiful.
And with the paper
bag.
The
paper, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you can slide this out to see which artwork you get.
Oh yeah, so specifically on this one, that one might be a little bit different. I don't know if it's in the painted cover like that. It's on the brow of these records, you'll always see a letter specifically for this particular record, and this is a D pressing, which is it's still an original pressing of In Through the Outdoor. I don't know if I've ever seen it. Is it
that angle? Yeah. So
are they all like that with the paint stroke?
I think so.
Maybe
I'd have to go look at my other copy.
Not just paying attention enough.
Yeah. Very cool. So this is very nice.
Thanks for that.
Either would be fine.
Yeah, they're about the same price. So.
Here.
Yeah, we'll make some pies. Led Zeppelin 2. This one was really nice. This is the Club press from 1975.
Very nice.
Got around 22 on it. So that one's a nice one.
That's gonna
so
be
I'll set it here. We can move it over if we need to.
Sure.
Let's go with this one. So this one's a reissue also.
It looks very nice.
Yeah, and this one's in beautiful shape too.
Similar price. Let's not work too hard on that. I don't want to lose friendship over $3 on a Led Zeppelin too.
This one's okay shape, nothing special.
Something to get for somebody.
Yeah, get a couple bucks. I mean, Carla used to have this.
Oh, is that the Carla pressing? Oh, that was the clock one. She had the Carla on the clock one.
Oh yeah.
So what's up with that guy?
This one, I think this one was pretty roached. Actually, it's not terrible.
It's probably
but it's not great.
Equally G plus.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
There you go.
Okay.
So this is the trouble. This is where we start to have questions about what we're gonna do here.
So I looked at this thing. So this is the
Did this play test this one for
Robert Ludlow. It doesn't. It's. I'd call it G plus. But playable.
Yeah.
I compared this to the one I have, which is also a G plus, and it's pretty close.
And so these still, even in G plus, just because it's the hot mix, goes for $100.
That's kind of what I found. I don't know if I would pay that for it. But if these are in VG plus condition, you're looking what?
to
300 on up. Like people really want these.
And you've listened to this. Is there a discernible difference between, say, this and this wonderful 1975 reissue? That
you're going to get a lot more bass out of this. You're going to get a little more separation. You're going to have a nicer sound.
This is what people are.
Yeah, and I have some friends who have very beautiful copies of this, and they've told me all the wonders. The copies that I've played have been. Sitting by a crackling fire.
For those that don't know, you're looking for the RL stamp on the actual Matrix readout, and
that's right there.
and specifically,
it has to be on both sides.
The grooves were cut so deep on this record that on older turntables, certainly things with a lighter touch, certainly things with a lighter touch, that it would actually jump the needle because the grooves were cut so deep in it. So,
which was a shame because that really only happened with the lower end turntables.
I would assume so, right? Yeah, because anything modern we should be able to handle.
Yeah, or even nicer old turntables.
All right, well, let's put that one aside for half a second while we figure out our rest of our...
It's hard to know
because there's a couple of different big things that we're...
This is one of those things you got to find just the right buyer for, you know? Sure,
and it's one that, I don't know that I need to have it on my shelf, but certainly if I found one.
So, okay, I'm going to show you what we have. So we have Led Zeppelin 4, pretty common.
One is harder to find.
Yeah. And then there's one. This one is beautiful. Very nice. Very nice.
You want to
we'll just do that for now.
And then that with that.
So we got 2 copies of...
okay.
What is this? This is song. It's the same.
So this was actually the film soundtrack.
Yeah.
And
it's essentially a live album.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the film is mostly a concert.
All right, well, there you go. That's working.
So we'll just do like that?
Yeah.
Does that even that out?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Cage match.
But no, well, so let's keep moving. All right, what's another $20-ish record that we can kind of play games with?
All right. So
because I'm not, some of this stuff is going to be going on into my bin.
So then we have Bruce Springsteen, Nebraska. This is pretty sought after.
It's one of those.
A lot of people ask for this, and it's one of the ones that. So perfect now. All right.
Great. All right. Well, that's the ball is moving, so to speak. The needle's moving. Yeah, that was easy. All right.
So we got some Pink Floyd in here.
Let's talk Floyd.
Okay. One thing we haven't figured out is this, but we'll just set that aside.
We'll set that aside for now because there's going to have to be a larger stack of records to trade for that guy.
Yep. All right. Pink Floyd. Let's set it here.
So Pink Floyd is one of those ones. It's just a heavily sought after band. People love to have Pink Floyd in their collection. They're gonna want the Dark Side of the Moon. They're gonna want Wall. Wish You Were Here is getting slightly more obscure, but still just a fantastic album. Love the cover art on this record. I mean, just so much fun, right? This looks like a maybe reissue, or
it's a reissue. It's not a super old one, but it's not like a modern reissue.
No, and it looks very, very nice.
Yeah.
Again, this collection, I have to give this guy props, man. He really did take care of some of this stuff. I mean, there's some beat up stuff in here as well, but man, overall, there's some really clean records in here.
And along those lines, with Pink Floyd, a lot of people are really looking for very clean copies of this because Pink Floyd has a lot of quiet sections and that crack and Popple and all. Crackle and pop is a little more prevalent in these.
Just because there's so many low volume sections.
Quiet,
yeah, so
sections.
if there's no volume to cover up the crackle, you're definitely going to hear it, right?
All right, so, I mean, we'll just start making some piles here. We got 2 copies of The Wall. Mm-hmm. One is, I have a strong VG on there, and then a VG Plus.
So this
they're both pretty
really
nice. Yeah,
Okay.
they're both pretty nice. This one, the cover's a little
I see.
scuffed
Got a
up
little bit of
smidge,
rainwear.
so-
Nothing too crazy.
So, preference for you?
I'll tell you, are we coming into metal next? So what are we going to do? So you're 55, 40, yeah, so let's do that. Go that, this, right? And then you go that.
Okay.
Do you have this in your collection? Because I have this.
I do have a copy of that in my collection.
All right, so the people that don't know, this is the final cut. This is essentially a Roger Waters sequel to The Wall, as
Yeah.
I would say, almost sonically. But if you're ever flipping through a record, it's one of those sort of nondescript covers that you may flip over if you don't look on the back and see the final cut. And even that is not obvious that it's Pink Floyd, but it is. This is performed by Pink Floyd, written by Roger Waters, and it is the last record that they recorded. So,
Yeah, together, anyway.
well, yeah, sorry, as a
Yeah.
full 4-piece Pink Floyd.
Okay. So these are even stacks, so I think we have odd numbers here.
Sure.
And then we have Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah, both of them about equal.
Yeah, they're about equal. This one has like a nicer cover, I think.
Posters, what's up? What's going on?
Oh, do we have posters? That's a good question. There's no posters in here. It's just the record, and there's no even real inner sleeve.
Nope, just the regular record. As well.
Yeah, so we don't have all the fancy bits.
Either
We can do that,
yeah.
and then this guy we'll have to
Yeah,
figure out.
we'll figure that out. All right, there's your Floyd section. That's great.
And we'll do a few more here, so we'll just set this aside.
Talk about the Devo ones, because I know we're just going to probably do one each. There was that one.
And then there's these 2.
There's these 2. Okay, so this one's kind of cool. Then maybe we'll work this into the, if you want to go with this
I
guy.
mean, they're all
I could go.
the same album, right?
These are all 3 the same album. That's interesting to me. So I've actually come across this pressing. This is a Canadian pressing of this record. This is Devo's Are We Not Men? And this is one of those ones that came back in the day that was in marble. So it's a colored vinyl from back in the day. It's really interesting pressing. And it's worth about 35 or 40 bucks. I think when I sold this for right around $35. Maybe 30.
Yeah, so that's the marbled one.
So that's the marbled one. Now
That's the green one, I think. Yeah.
So this is again, the colored vinyl has gotten very, very popular now, and it's certainly being produced on a much wider scale. But back in the day, it still happened, and there's some interesting stuff that they were able to do back then. That's sort of bleeding into some of the more modern things that we're doing now, which is interesting to me. It was interesting to me that the bootleggers were doing more of the colored vinyl than the actual producers. And then they used to have a technique where they painted on the vinyl after the record was already pressed. Which, have you seen any of that before?
No.
Oh yeah, it's out there.
And this one's kind of cool too.
Okay, again, this is a picture disc of Are We Not Men with a little interesting wrap. These 3 are almost real close to that Zeppelin. If you want to do that.
Do you want the Zeppelin or do you want the Devos?
What do you prefer on that?
I don't care. I have an RL copy of this in my collection. I don't know if it's something you want or if it's something you would try to sell. I think these would be easier to sell than this.
I think these would be easier to sell than that too.
Yeah.
All right, let's put that on the back burner. All right, this is the problem with this. All right, but that's on the table. We'll keep going.
So this is, other than the Led Zeppelin RL, this is the most valuable record I found in this collection.
Okay.
And you've seen this before. It's a Kiss compilation that really goes through most of their whole collection. But what's cool about this one, and normally this goes for about $35.
It's not a cheap record.
Yeah, but this one is a picture disc, and I did listen to it. And it sounds pretty good.
Well, there you go. For all you, I actually got a guy for this.
So you got the yeah.
I got a guy who will buy this right now.
So this is a very cool collectible, especially if you're into Kiss. 15 years of Kiss history.
Picture this. I can't assume that many of those were produced.
So this is kind of the the coolest thing that I found in this
In this
collection.
collection.
And there was some cool stuff. So,
Are you into that?
if you got a guy,
I have a guy that I have a, so I recently bought a large collection of Kiss stuff from a guy up in Wyoming. It ended up being like 25 or 30 records, and I had it like listed on my ads for like a couple of months. I would be posting, I got a lot of Kiss if you want it. Finally, this guy hits me up and he's like, he comes and he looks at it all and he's like, I'll take it all. And I ended up giving him a sweetheart deal on it or whatever, but he was super stoked. This was one of the records. I remember this record because I had it in the shrink, and it was a very nice copy of it. I think I had 25 or 30 bucks. I mean, it was not a cheap record. So did they find the picture disc? That's kind of interesting.
yeah, it's pretty neat. Well, let's put that on your side.
Okay, we'll keep working.
So I got this.
Husker Du, which is also another. I'm not super familiar.
Yeah, they're kind of later. When is this out? This is 87.
Okay.
Yeah, these are kind of sought after if you're into it.
I feel like this is the name that you get, like when you get people that hit you up for like random records or something. They'll say, hey, do you have any John Prine? Do you have any Husker Du? And you're like,
Right.
I don't have any Husker Du, man. Straight out of Husker Du.
So, what if I put these two together? Do you think we'd be straight on that?
Absolutely. Keep going.
Cool. Okay, let's do just a few more here.
Okay. Kind of into that Marley.
This is about Marley.
That's cool. It's a $30
Yeah.
promo pressing.
I think I have that in my
Do
collection
you?
too.
I think you do too, actually. I think I'm pined after it.
Are you into the Zappa?
I actually have a Joe's Garage, so I'm good on that. I have Joe's Garage 1 and the Act 2 and 3. There's another record actually that's in the sort of Joe's Garage saga called Act 2 and 3 where they take the story a little bit further.
All right.
So that's got to be close.
So we'll go through.
That Van Halen and this guy and your Joe's. That's close.
Yeah, that's about right.
Let's do it. Done. Keep moving. Ain't got all day.
All right.
So I'm not familiar with this record. Tell me about this record.
Okay, so this is a Dire Straits
Sure.
live album,
Okay, it's a live album. Okay,
and
okay.
I have the DVD for this.
Okay, but you don't have the record?
I do have the record, but I know I could move this
I feel
for
like
sure.
this is much nicer.
No, actually, it's about what
About the same as that, okay. All right.
But what song? There's one of the songs. I think the Sultans of Swing, or
Sultans
one of these
of Swing,
has
yeah.
one of the most amazing guitar solo. They just go off on it, and it's pretty remarkable. It's not on any of the actual
All right,
albums.
you take
so
that
that
one.
one's cool. We got a Kiss.
It was the stickers and
Live.
cards. So
Stickers and
they were
cards.
so good. This is a live one, right?
Yes, this is the one.
The one that's hard
people
to
really
find,
want,
yeah. This
and
is
it's
the
in
one
pretty decent shape.
That I did not have in that collection. What's interesting to me is that Kiss was probably one of the best bands for putting extra like just stuff inside their records. So like this is a big sticker kind of thing. It's starting to get deteriorated a little bit, but you know that's what you expect from something that's like 40 years old.
Yeah, and
That
it's
record's
got a couple little nicks on it, but it's
Pretty
not.
clean. Yeah.
I mean, compared to what you usually find Kiss records, this is nice.
That would be exciting for me. I had somebody else hit me up about that record too, but that was back when I had that big old pile of Kiss. You go Alive 1? I'm like, no, just Alive 2.
So let's see. Well, we got a nice easy top here.
Yeah. It's always a seller. It's one of their best records.
This is it's got give me all
It's
your
got
love
legs and
all
yeah,
that stuff.
Yeah.
So let's set that.
Whatever.
We'll
you
put
want
it
to do.
here.
I don't care.
So what's next? Let's check out this Bob Dylan.
Fantastic record. Blood on the Tracks. One of those ones that like you might overlook, I guess, if you're not a hardcore Dylan guy, because it's a little bit later. But it's just a fantastic.
This is a great. You just put it on, and this
Yeah.
is good. And the cover on here is really nice too, because you usually see this cover a lot.
It gets worn because this is one of those different like it's a sort of a raw paper that they
Yeah,
use.
it's not the gloss.
Yeah.
So
So
that gets pretty roughed up.
yeah, for sure.
So, we got a nice copy of
Hotel California.
Hotel California.
Always sells.
2025. I'm finding it harder and harder to find these, and it actually has the poster.
I think yep, I've seen that one. And you're starting to see that stuff where like certain records that are you have to be in everybody's collection. So your Dark Side of the Moons, your Hotel Californias, your Toto 4s. They're just getting slightly harder to
Yeah,
find.
Toto 4 used to be like a $5 record.
Yeah, now it's like 10 or 15 bucks.
Yeah.
So
So, do you have a preference on this?
I mean either way it sells, so I don't really.
Where do we at? So you're at like 30 here. This is 15. So it'd be like, I don't know. This one's kind of lopsided. So
I don't know, keep going. We'll find
I'll throw
something.
it here.
We'll find something to make it work.
free.
What's up with that other? What's up with that other? Oh my, the Fleetwood Mac. We can even this out right now. So rumors is we were just talking about this. As far as records that everybody has to have in their collection, they're getting more and more expensive. And people will call you. They'll hit you up and say, "Hey, do you have a copy of Fleetwood Mac Rumors?" I'm like, "Dude, it is still in reissue. You can get a modern pressing of it. Very nice for well, I'm gonna charge you for an old pressing of it now because people just
don't tell people that.
People just snag them up. Well, I it's funny because I had bought a collection from a gentleman not too long ago, and it was a bunch of modern records, and they had a modern pressing of Fleetwood Mac Rumors, and the modern pressing was cheaper than this. I'm like, what are you supposed to do with that? So,
yeah. I think around last Christmas, I sold 9 copies of this.
Dude,
they went like that.
The very first collection that I ever got had about 9 or 10 copies of Rumors, and I'm like, why do you need 10 copies of Rumors? Well, they're in every collection that you buy.
Yeah, and it's really good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's great.
So, and there's also another one here that's pretty rough. Put it over here.
Yeah, put that over there. That's fine.
So, oh yeah.
Yeah, and then again, honestly, if you're into listening to Fleetwood Mac, this may be the better listen than Rumors because it's just got some other really great songs. I think this is the one.
This came out right before this. This was the first time Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham were in the band together. So, and then after this, they did Rumors. So, there's a bunch of Prince stuff in here.
Yeah, I'm into that too.
Let's see. Let's pull out the Prince stuff. I don't know this one for you.
Is that a full-length album? Or is that?
It is.
It sure looks like it. So that's going to be probably fairly rare.
It's got Soft and Wet on it.
You're getting into the 90s yet on this one, or is this still in the 80s?
Yeah, I'm sure it's 80s.
Okay. All right.
This would be worth a lot more than $20.
Sure. I think what you're going to do is the easy one is for one person to take that and one person to take that.
Yeah. Unless you want it all.
No, I'll take the 99 if you're cool with that.
All right.
Is that cool? That's easy for me. All right, we'll put the Princes aside because that's not part of this other thing. Make sure that we're another one for it. I think we're about close.
Yeah.
On these ones, right? So I'm at 30, 40, 50, 60.
So that's like 20.
You owe me one more, sir.
All right.
A good one.
Good one. Do we have any good ones left? We got Highwaymen, 20 to 30.
Okay. I could be into that.
Or what Doors stuff? We got some Doors stuff. Like, this is nice.
Yeah, give me that. Why not? It's great record.
Waiting for the Sun.
It's fantastic.
VG Plus, which...
So these guys, again, these are ones that...
You don't want to open that. It's a pain.
Is it a pain?
Yeah, because it comes out the middle.
Comes out the middle.
Yeah.
All right. We can talk about Doors labels for another video, but there is a lot of different Electra versions and stuff. But like getting the old red Electra or the red brown Electra are ones you want to look for when you're digging for Doors.
Okay. So we're about even here.
Pull that.
Cool. All right. So all the Steve-O stuff is still here.
Yeah. I think
Right, so let's back up.
That's the trade still on the table. All right.
So
That's you.
I'm still interested in this.
That's you. I have a copy of that.
Beautiful copy.
I have a copy of that in my bin for sale right now.
Right. This is something I think we're kind of both interested in.
Yeah.
This is not a very valuable record, but it is red vinyl, and someone put the article in here when Keith Moon passed.
That's crazy.
So it's just kind of a neat.
These records.
There's a little bit of history here.
We kind of touched on this when we did the Abbey Road video or the Let It Be video,
Yeah.
where you can kind of put together something that like is more than just a record, right? You put a newspaper clipping, you put a love letter, you put a note, you put something. Like, it becomes more than just a record, right? It becomes a little bit more of a time capsule, if you will, and that's kind of so. You can take that one, man. It's cool. Put it on your shelf.
Kind of neat.
I have
one of those.
I have a copy of that.
Kind of jumped out at me as being pretty cool.
Well, and you already did the digging. You did the hard part, so.
Yeah. Let's talk about this.
So
you see this, you get a little excited.
Every single time you see this record, and we did one of the videos that we cut is about this record.
We did talk about it.
I haven't cut it yet.
Yeah.
We shot it. All right, so that will probably be out soon too. Anyway, this is the Beatles yesterday. First thing you want to do is go to Capital Pressing. Yes, it's Capital Pressing. Yes, it's an original pressing. So then you start to look on it. What they used to do is they used to put these trunk covers. This is the trunk cover. They used to put these pasted covers over the top of records. So if they had to repress the record or repackage it or resell it, or they're trying to do something different with it, they would just simply plaster over a new cover on the old existing record, so they didn't have to pay for more cardboard, essentially. Well, this is known as the Trump cover on the Yesterday and Today Beatles album, but originally it was the original cover that was produced was known as the Butcher cover. So the Butcher cover being one of the most valuable pieces of paper that you could have when it comes to the whole record thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, we don't have to get into the whole history of it, but look up Butcher cover if you're interested. Unfortunately, this is not a Butcher cover.
But it is a very nice VG mono pressing, original pressing of the record. So,
so this was the pressing that I think was right after the whole Butcher cover debacle.
I got one of those too.
Yeah.
Right after.
Yeah. So this is very nice.
Yeah.
Is this something you'd like to have in your bin?
Sure, why not?
All right. We got Free here.
Another, you know what? This is another one of those psych rock albums that if you're into psych rock, you may want to keep an eye on it. It's the guys from one of the guys that ended up being in Bad Company, and some other guys were doing this like psych rock project called Free, and it's definitely got some of the same rocking elements and some of that stuff that you would like from Bad Company, but it's a little bit different.
Yeah, I don't think I have this in my collection.
You need it.
So I might put it in my pile.
Yeah. Another interesting, cool record. I have not listened to this yet. I'm more interested in just to listen to this, but it's a collaboration of Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, and Chris Christopherson.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty cool, and this is pretty sought after. So
that's cool.
Let's set it here since I think I either had a copy of that or I sold it.
Or you sold a copy of it?
Doors Live. This isn't super sought after. This is kind of one of the later
sort of live comp kind of things.
Yeah, this came out in the 80s.
I love it when, no matter what, dude, for people that don't know, Jim Morrison, when he died, was a big, fat, bearded whale, okay? And you'll never see that, except for L.A. Woman, is the only cover that shows him in sort of all of his, like, bearded, bluesy glory of his later years. And so, one of the things that's common with the Doors records, they always go back to that sort of, early Jim Morrison look. He sort of resented that later in life for the record.
I got that. We'll throw that over here, I guess, unless you have a strong desire.
How are you doing on the Alice Cooper?
No, this Alice Cooper, like this one's not too great of shape. Like it shouldn't even be in this bin, but it's kind of one of those. This is, I think, one of their first.
It is their first album.
Okay.
So this is for Alice Cooper's first album, and it's sort of pre-glam. And it has I'm 18, I just don't know what I want. So it's got some of their earlier rockin' tunes that aren't so glam-tastic, if you will. I mean, Alice Cooper was an innovator of glam and sort of that androgynous rock stuff, following David Bowie's footsteps, but sort of from an American sensibility, right?
Yeah, so I mean, if this was in great shape, it'd probably be worth some good money. But this particular one is pretty beat up, so meh.
Yeah. Somebody can find it. Yeah. I've had Alice Cooper sitting in my bin forever. I'm surprised that people don't know.
It's around. This is a nice copy of
Slippery When Wet. You guys get the gist of it. I mean, we have like about 1,000 records to go through, but that's sort of the really nice stuff. And we're still friends. We're still okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, all right, good. Yeah, we'll talk later. But anyway, we'll if we find any more super awesome gems in here, we'll be sure to share that with you guys on the herd. But until next time, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks.
Feel free to Zoom me. Otherwise, we'll get you on next week if you can. Much love. Thanks for doing the thing with me, y'all.